Attempted to explain and write an example of how you apply logical operators in Python, and feel free to pause the video and literally copy everything that I've done into your Jupyter Notebook script so that you can test on how it's working. But I want to explain how this code is working. So the whole purpose of this code is to allow a student or whatever, a tutor or a teacher, to grade a student based on the marks they have entered. So think of it as a system where you enter your marks and it tells you your grade. So in the first line here, we will prompt the user to enter their marks, and these marks can be decimal. So you can have maybe 25.5 marks, or you can have 50.5 marks depending on the marking. And that's why we are having the float here, to make sure that you can have your marks in decimal. And then the input simply allows the user to, or prompts the user to enter the value, which is their marks. And this here is simply a message to tell the user that they should enter their marks, and that mark should not go below or above 100, and it should not go below 0. And then once the user does that, it's assigned to a variable called marks. And then now we expose these marks to a series of if and elif statements. So if that marks is below 29, then the grade that is going to be printed is grade E. If that marks is above 29, bar is less than 35, and then the grade is going to be D minus. If the marks is greater than 35 but less than 40, the grade is going to be D. So remember, it's a very, very marginal difference, 39.99. If the marks is greater than 39 and less than 45, then the grade is D plus. It goes like that until we are at a grade A minus. So let's try and see how that happens. So let's test this. We're gonna start with enter the number. So let me enter a number that is below 29. So 24. So I expect it to give me a grade of E, and you can do it does that. I can literally run it again, and this time I give it any value between 29.99 to 34. So I'm gonna give it 30, and the grade that I expect is D minus. And you can see it gives me exactly that. I can test it with let me take a random one, 49 to 55. Let me do 52. So in that case, I expect to have a grade of C, and it returns that. If I print anything between 0 and 100, so let me have 100, then I expect a grade of A. You can see it's A. Now the tricky part is this code I don't have got very strict conditions. So let me do 101. Even though my condition says that I should enter between 0 and 100, if I do 101, I have not implemented this in code. Remember, this is just a string, so it is not that very much implemented. So if I do 101, it's going to return A. So it's still running. I think it doesn't understand what it needs to do, and I can literally interrupt the cell. This is the beauty of Jupyter Notebook. So let me try a number like 99. You can see it's returning A. Let me try 102. It's still returning A. Why? Because I didn't implement this into code. I just write it as a string. The funny thing is, if I type a number that is less than 29, like -7, I'll get an E, but this is not realistic. So that is, maybe we should add more conditions to this code to make it happen. But the whole purpose was to show you how we can use logical operators like equal or greater than and equal and less than, and also combine it with other operators like and conditions like elif, if, and else. So that is how you apply them in your day-to-day programming.